"Where are you taking me, Ethan?" Olivia asked anxiously, checking her watch, but Ethan Kahn, who was driving silently, stiffened and replied in a cold, sharp tone, telling her to sit quietly because she would soon find out, and there was no need to make noise. His voice was so different that fear crept into Olivia's heart because this was not the Ethan she had known since childhood, the same man who had been like a son to her father and had always treated her with care, respect, and affection. But today his tone was cruel and distant, and within a short time he drove the car out of the city to a deserted yet luxurious farmhouse, where he stopped, got out, and without listening to her questions grabbed her arm tightly and dragged her inside while she cried in pain, then pushed her into a large room and locked the door from outside, ignoring her screams as she banged on the door asking what she had done, until she finally collapsed against it, crying helplessly, unable to understand why the man who once promised to protect her had imprisoned her like this. After some time the door opened and she rushed forward, but Ethan stood there with a maid holding a heavy red bridal dress, his eyes cold as he ordered her to wear it and get ready, and when she asked why, he simply said it was for her Nika, making her feel as if the ground had slipped beneath her feet, as she cried out in disbelief and begged him to take her home, reminding him of her father, but Ethan only smiled bitterly and threatened her to obey quietly or face worse consequences, leaving her no choice in that unknown place where she was completely alone. Later, dressed as a bride, trembling and terrified, she was dragged into a hall where a cleric, 2 witnesses, and 2 large aggressive guard dogs stood, their chains held tightly, and the sight alone sent chills down her spine as Ethan declared it was her Nika, and when she refused, he forced her, the dogs barking and lunging forward until she panicked and, with no way to escape, signed the marriage papers with shaking hands while crying, and the Nika was completed quickly, after which Ethan leaned close and whispered that this was only the beginning of his revenge. Confused and heartbroken, Olivia asked what she or her father had done, but Ethan revealed that she was simply the price for everything her father, Daniel Shaw, had done to him, accusing him of being responsible for his parents' death and stealing everything from his family, and now he would take everything back, starting with her. He then took her back to her home not to free her but to show her father, announcing in front of everyone that she was now his wife, while Olivia cried that it was forced, but Ethan showed the signed marriage papers as proof and before anyone could stop him, dragged her away again and took her to his old, abandoned ancestral house, which was dark, dusty, and lifeless compared to her luxurious home, telling her this was her new reality where she would no longer live as a princess but as the daughter of a criminal, forcing her to cook, clean, and survive on her own. Olivia, who had never done any work in her life, struggled badly, injured her hands, starved, and eventually collapsed with fever and infection. And when Ethan returned that night and found her unconscious, something inside him shifted as he rushed to her, treated her wounds, gave her medicine, and stayed by her side the entire night, fighting with his own emotions. Later, when she recovered slightly, he showed her the evidence he had gathered over years, a video of her father meeting the truck driver who caused his parents' fatal accident, handing him money, along with bank statements and a dying confession, which shattered Olivia completely as she refused to believe it at first, but Ethan revealed that he had already given everything to the police and her father had been arrested, leaving her torn between the love for her father and the painful truth. Days passed. Else, her anger, her confusion, and ran to him, realizing that she loved him, and at the hospital she held his hand, crying, telling him he was not her father's enemy but her husband, and that she would stand by him no matter what, even if it meant leaving everything behind. And hearing this, the burning fire of revenge inside Ethan finally began to fade, replaced slowly by something softer, something human, as both of them, broken by the past, unknowingly stepped into a new beginning where pain, truth, and love were all intertwined.